Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to talk about the prices for the Apocalypse stuff, because it has been leaked. The prices have been leaked. We know how much things are going to cost on the 29th of June, which is when it drops, which is also Warhammer Day. And there's some good news. Let's start with the good news. The good news is that I was totally wrong about the detachment boxes for Apocalypse. I assumed there'd be more than £100 because we've seen price increases on the start collecting boxes, and I just assumed that that would be extended out and into these as well. I mean, the Battle Force boxes over Christmas were £100, but I honestly thought there'd be more because of the price increase that we've seen from the start collecting sets. Although, if I'm totally honest, I can't remember when that change came in. I can't remember whether that was before or after Christmas, so it could be that that was already in place, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. But they are just £100, which means you're saving about 30 to 40% by the look of things in these boxes, as opposed to buying them all, buying everything in them in their own separate box. Which also means third-party retailers like Element, the one that I use and the one I have an affiliate link for in the description, that is going to be, what, like roughly £80, a bit more than £80, which is a decent chunk saved off buying all this stuff separately. So I'm happy about that. That's one of those things where, when I say I like being wrong, there are specific instances where I like being wrong, and this is one of those instances where I assumed it would cost more, and then it didn't. It cost admittedly, what a lot of you guys were like, oh no, I'm sure it'd be £100. You're totally correct, and I'm glad you are, because it's cheaper, and cheaper's good. The data sheets, the command assets, all of that stuff, those are all going to be £15. That's just all the same across the board. There is also the actual Apocalypse box is going to be £60. The Repulsor Executioner is also going to be £60. Now that, correct me if I'm wrong, that is more expensive than the current Repulsor. I'm just checking it now. Yeah, it's £10 more. Now, the thing is, the Executioner is essentially the same kit, but with more stuff. I think what they've done is they've just slammed another sprue into the box. There are some other changes, like there's extra bits on the side of it in places, and I think that's why it is that extra £10. It's just a case of you get a Repulsor and you get the Executioner sprue to go with it, which is why it's a bit more expensive. To be honest, I kind of would have preferred it to just be one price, and you can either build one or the other. It depends on whether you're a fan of magnetising and stuff, I guess, as to whether you'll be okay with this, but it's still £10 more than the current Repulsor, which seems a bit weird, because, I don't know, to me that feels like charging extra for a different version of the Land Raider. That's the thing I keep comparing it to. Now, whether that's actually accurate or fair or not is a completely different matter entirely, but that's what my brain keeps going back to. It's like, well, would you pay extra for a certain type of Land Raider? I don't know if you would. And given that last time I checked, all the Land Raiders were exactly the same price, apart from the Chaos one, which is £1 more. I mean, so it's £1 more, and you get the Chaos Vehicle Accessory sprue with it. Sure, why not? Why not? Okay. I've never noticed that before. How is it only £1 more when you get an extra... Whatever. Let's not get into it. So yeah, that is the cost of the Repulsor. The Scorpius, which is the AdMech hovercraft of weird, that is £45. And the Baneblade is the same as it ever was. It's just got a fancy new pack. Now, there is something here that I'm not entirely sure about, which is the movement trays. So the cost for the movement trays is, I feel, I don't know, it's £25, right, for the movement trays for all of them. So for the 25mm, you get 18 of them. For the 32mm, you get 12 of them. And for the 40mm, you get 16 of them? That might not be correct. That might be the wrong way round, because that seems weird. Why would you get fewer of the 32 and more of the 40? That doesn't seem right, does it? Looking at that. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they all are the same price, £25. So, the numbers might be a bit wrong, but apparently the price is the same across the board. That I'm not sure about. So if you get 18 of the 25mm, I'm just going to have a quick look at some... Well, in fact, I'll have a look at the Element Games movement trays, because they've been doing these for absolutely ages. So if you want a if you want 25mm from them, in fact, let's have a look at 32. So 6 32mm from Element Games, which have got space for 5 units in each, will cost you £10.80. So how does that compare? So if that's £10.80 for 6, and it's 6 32mm, then yeah, you can, if those numbers are correct, then you can get double the number of movement trays for less than 25 quid. So yeah, that's not ideal. That's not great. The cost of that is a bit iffy. I mean, if this is correct, you get 12 movement trays for 25 quid for the 32mm from Games Workshop, or from Element you get 12 for 20 quid. So you save a fiver. Admittedly, the shape of them is different. I don't know whether that would make a difference to anyone, but you know, the shape is different. I don't know. I don't think it's terrible value. I don't think it's awful value, but I think it could be slightly better. There are already, you know, products that have a similar feature set, if you can call it a feature set. It's a movement tray. Then you can find similar products that do the same thing for less. Although, then again, it's Games Workshop. Arguably, no matter what they put out, you can find something that does something similar for less. So I think in the grand scheme of things, if we're honest, 25 quid isn't great. It's also not terrible. It could be worse. It could be a lot worse. It's okay. It's okay. I think no matter which I look at, it's pretty much the same deal, where it's about the same cost. Maybe a little bit less for getting something third party, but that tends to be the case with a lot of the Games Workshop stuff, if we're totally honest. So I think overall, I'm happy with most of what the costing is for this stuff. I mean, the fact that we do have that £100 price tag on the boxes, that makes me happy. I'm glad I was wrong about that, because I mean, it just seemed like it would be more, but no. Overall, not too bad. Not too bad. As I say, the only thing giving me pause is the movement trays, but then again, having just had a quick look, you're saving a little bit going somewhere else, so I wouldn't say they're massively overpriced for what they are. If it was like 25 quid for one, and I'm assuming that these movement trays all hold 5, I mean, that's what we saw in the article that went up over the weekend, then 18 of them, 25 quid is not, it's not terrible. It's just not quite as cheap as some other places, which sums up Games Workshop's pricing in a nutshell. Let's be totally honest. So yeah, that's the prices that have been leaked. I'll put a link to them in the description down below, so you can peruse them yourself and maybe, I don't know, work out amongst yourselves whether 12 of the 32mm and 16 of the 40mm makes sense, or whether that might be a mild typo or something. Maybe someone copy and pasted the wrong thing. Who knows? That's the only thing that seems weird to me. You'd think it'd go 18, 16, 12 for 25mm, 32mm and 40mm, not 16, 12, 18. That seems a bit wonky. Or 18, 12, 16 even. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. To be honest, I wouldn't put it past them to actually do that. It just seems odd. So yeah, that is the pricing for the Apocalypse stuff. Make sure you follow the link and have a quick look, and if there's anything that strikes you as being particularly egregious, then do say so in the comments, but overall I think it's not too bad. Thank you very much for watching. If you fancy doing something to support the channel, then there's been a link to Patreon up there. There's also one in the description, because YouTube is an ad nightmare at the moment, as it always is. And if you wanted to do something that doesn't involve Patreon, then there is an affiliate link for affiliate games, Element Games, in the description as well. If you click that, you can just buy 40k stuff. You don't pay any more, you just pay less than what you would at Games Workshop, but I get something for sending you there. So that's all that is. That's how that works. You can click it if you like. You don't click it if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. I'm not your mum. I'm not telling you what to do. Let me know what you think of all that stuff in the comments down below, and I will see you for the next one, whatever it happens to be. Toodaloo.